live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Yes, it is. Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. Thursday, May 11th. We've got a lot to get into tonight, including verdict watch in the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. Daniel Woodruff joins us live in just a moment. Criminal defense attorney Sky Lazaro is here to break down what happens next. And also on the way, live from Washington, D.C., Congressman Chris Stewart will join us in just a few minutes. So as always, if you'd like to get in touch with us throughout the show, use the hashtag, very easy to use. It's 2 News Live. That is how you can join the conversation. You can find us on all the socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Send me a direct message there to weigh in. Let's get right into it. Happening now, verdict watch in the Lori Vallow Daybell murder trial. The jury is now deliberating after receiving the case earlier this afternoon. This after the trial lasting a few weeks. Our Daniel Woodruff was in the courtroom for closing arguments today. Daniel's live outside of the Ada County Courthouse, a place that, Daniel, you have practically lived at times over the last few weeks. What's the latest there?
So I just was inside the courtroom and was told that the jury is getting dinner, so they're still deliberating. They've now been deliberating for over 3 hours. So we may be here a while. It's really anyone's guess how long they go this evening, if they come back tomorrow, but it's until that point that they reach a verdict. This could take a while because this was a weeks-long trial. There were dozens of witnesses, lots of exhibit, lots of evidence, and the jury has the opportunity to go back through all of that as they deliberate. There are 12 jurors deliberating right now. 6 of them were alternates of the total 18. They were dismissed, but they may be called back if they're needed. But for now, 12 men and women are deliberating this case, deciding whether Lori Vallow Daybell is guilty, among other things, of murder, of conspiracy to commit murder, of insurance fraud, and of grand theft, Brian.
Daniel, I was following along closely on your social media channels today with constant updates on Twitter. You were saying some of the things that they were mentioning today, a lot about text message exchanges. What stood out to you today?
Well, the prosecution has really been hammering home one clear message throughout the trial, and that is they say Lori was motivated by money, power, and sex, and that she got rid of people who were in her path of obtaining those things, and that she used those things to try to manipulate others, as well as, they say, using her religious beliefs to try to manipulate others. So the prosecution hit that really hard. The defense, it was interesting, is they made their closing arguments. They didn't call a single witness during the trial. Lori herself didn't testify, but the defense seemed to be pointing the finger a lot at Chad Daybell, calling him in some cases nutty, saying he was selling, quote, stupid books, and saying that he misled Lori, that she believed he was following Jesus Christ, but he wasn't, and that she was essentially a victim of his. So that was an interesting closing argument from the defense. We'll see which one the jury believes.
Daniel Woodruff live for us tonight outside of the Ada County Courthouse in Boise, Idaho, waiting what comes next here with the verdict. Daniel, as always, thank you for your diligent reporting throughout the day. We appreciate it. Keeping an eye on this one and going in depth tonight, criminal defense attorney Sky Lazaro, kind enough to join us to discuss this trial once again. We're keeping tabs here. I think this is 3 or 4 or 5 times we've had you here to talk about this.
Twice this week, at least.
Twice this week. They've talked about text messages today. They talked about a number of things, pointing the finger at Chad. That's from the defense. We just heard Daniel say that. What now?
Now we all wait. The jury has the case. They've been read all the jury instructions that lay out the elements, how to weigh certain types of evidence, how they can assess credibility, all of those sorts of things. So, they're probably going to go back. They're going to give them dinner. The judge probably won't keep them real late tonight, I wouldn't think. I think he'll probably send them home after dinner and have them come back in the morning and continue working through the evidence that they heard.
You'd have to imagine there's no rush at this point, right? I mean, they want to have their discussions. They want to feel comfortable with their decision. Hearing what we've heard throughout the day and throughout the last few weeks, do you think they have a decision? Is it tough to tell?
It's hard to tell. I mean, you have 12 people who have to come to a unanimous decision, and there's multiple counts. So you might have a couple holdouts on that, are supportive of one count and not another. And so there's a lot to go through. And when you're trying to get 12 people to agree on anything unanimously, I think always takes a little bit of work.
Yeah, to get two people to agree is one
Right.
thing. To get a dozen that supposedly before this knew nothing about the case, had never seen the media coverage, have never watched the documentary. It all goes kind of back to that. Did you have that clear mind going into this? So we're thinking maybe tomorrow, could even be Monday at this point if they have questions?
Could be tomorrow. They can submit questions, or I shouldn't say that. Some judges allow questions to be submitted. I don't know about this judge. So it could be Monday. It could be all next week. I mean, it's really, it's just no one really knows at this point.
Sky Lazaro, kind enough to join us not once but twice this week to talk about the Lori Vallow Daybell trial, where we're awaiting a verdict at this point, and we'll see when that happens. Sky, thank you as always for the insight.
Thank you, Brian.
Audio has been recorded daily in this trial, including today. We will post it so you can hear exactly what happened. Just head to our website, KUTV.com, as well as our YouTube page. We have all of that on there from not just what will happen today and what happened yesterday, but throughout weeks from this trial. Let's go in depth now from Washington, D.C., a historic day. When talking about immigration here in the United States, there are a number of topics that are top of mind right now. Utah Representative Chris Stewart joining us live now from our nation's capital here on 2 News Live. Congressman, thank you for a few minutes tonight. We really appreciate you being here. There have been a surge of migrants today and for the last few weeks, according to the Department of Homeland Security Secretary. This means anyone arriving at the southern border tonight after midnight will be presumed ineligible of asylum with the 5-year ban of reentry. But just this afternoon, the Secure the Border Act passing through the House with some votes from yourself, Congressman Stewart, and other Utah representatives. What is this bill?
Well, it's an attempt to try to minimize and to turn back what is just a catastrophe on our southern border. I mean, it's a human rights catastrophe. Literally tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of young women and girls who have been trafficked across the border. 117,000 people who have died from fentanyl overdose that is coming across our southern border. 150,000 people lined up now because they think they're going to be able to cross the border and not be impugned in any way in going forward. 3 million people who crossed the border illegally in the last 2 years. We passed this bill today to make a statement saying you have to secure the southern border, Mr. President. It's a catastrophe what is going on there. And I think many Democrats are beginning to realize that now.
Trying to put a plan in place after Title 42 expires. Of course, we will have to see how this shakes out. Moving on to the debt ceiling discussion now. There's a looming deadline for that. Will the United States be able to pay their bills? Congressman, where can each party give at this point to try and strike a deal?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it would just be so destructive for our nation if we are not able to pay our bills to meet our obligations. And we have to raise the debt ceiling. I think everyone recognizes that. The only thing the Republicans are asking, and keep in mind, by the way, we raised the debt ceiling 2 weeks ago. We raised the debt ceiling and we just asked for some very moderate spending cuts. For heaven's sakes, all we're asking is to go back to the spending policies of 5 months ago, from 2022, to implement a 1% cap on future government growth. I mean, these are policies the American people, they don't think that's radical. Now, the president and others have come out and said, well, they're going to cut VA benefits by 22% and other such things. It's just nonsense. It doesn't do any of that. And really, the polling on this is pretty dramatic. Even a majority, about 52% of Democrats say, yes, we should impose more spending cuts. We should impose more discipline on our federal government. For heaven's sakes, we have spent $12 trillion in the last 2 years. It's completely unsustainable. We hope the president will negotiate with us, and I think he's going to. We're going to reach an agreement. I'm confident that we will.
Well, regarding the debt ceiling, how would that impact us here in Utah should no agreement happen?
Oh, it would impact everyone across the country. And of course, in Utah, you're going to see a spike in interest rates. You're going to see a collapse of the equities market, of the stock market. You're going to see mortgages and other cost of borrowing go up dramatically. You're going to see probably a real spike in gold prices and a collapse of the dollar. I mean, it goes on and on. We just can't allow it to happen. The president knows that. And he's going to come and negotiate with us. We've been trying to negotiate with him for 98 days now. We're just asking him, just please come talk to us. But again, once we passed our legislation 2 weeks ago, where we raised the debt ceiling, asked for these very moderate cuts, things that are going to, I think, clearly benefit the American people in the sense of cutting government spending, which is going to decrease the pressure on inflation. I think the president realizes he's got to talk to us, and we are going to reach an agreement.
Congressman Chris Stewart live with us tonight on 2 News Live. Congressman, did you see any of the town hall last night with former President Trump and CNN anchor Caitlin Collins? If so, what did you take away from that?
I've only seen little clips here and there. It was vintage President Trump. I mean, he was like I think many of us expected. It was kind of interesting to be on CNN. He had a very friendly audience. It was fun to watch, but honestly, again, I didn't get to see much of it.
Utah Senator Mitt Romney gave his thoughts about the town hall. Let's take a listen to his comments.
I think people saw last night what they would get with another term of Donald Trump as president, which is completely untethered to the truth, uncertain as to whether he wants Russia or Ukraine to win in the brutal conflict which Russia has imposed on Ukraine. I think it was a great opportunity for the people of America to see just exactly who it is Donald Trump has become.
What do you make of the senator's comments about Donald Trump?
Well, look, I just disagree with Mitt Romney on this. I think it's nonsense to say that the president doesn't care whether Vladimir Putin or Ukraine wins. I don't think there's any evidence of that at all. And having talked with the president about this issue as recently as a few weeks ago, I can tell you that's absolutely not the truth. And he said he's untethered from the truth. Well, what did he say in the town hall that he thinks was a lie or a fabrication? But look, we know that Senator Romney hasn't been a fan of the previous president for quite a while. He voted to impeach him twice. I don't think I'm surprised by what the senator said.
Well, let's come back here to Utah from our journey to New Hampshire for that CNN town hall segment, but flooding is of paramount concern, specifically in parts of your district. So with our snowpack and runoff, have you heard from constituents locally? Have you heard from local leaders?
Oh, yeah, we've been working with them for weeks. Actually, we started working with the local leaders in southern Utah, knowing that would warm up first, probably about 6 weeks ago, and we monitor very closely, of course. And we stand ready to provide any aid, any federal aid that might be necessary. I mean, our prayers have been answered. Oh my gosh, we did get our precipitation, we got our snow, but it's going to be obviously a bit of a challenge. And by the way, I think it's pretty clear that the worst is still yet to come. We've been very fortunate, very blessed in that we've had a cool spring, but there's still a lot of water up there, an enormous amount of snow that has yet to melt. So I think the next month or so is going to be critical.
Well, finally tonight, as part of Mental Health Awareness Month, you are co-chair of the Bipartisan Mental Health Caucus. What does this do, and what does this resolution do to recognize the month of May?
Well, this is such important work, and I didn't know when I came to Congress I would be involved in mental health and in suicide prevention. One of the proudest things I've done in Congress was to write the legislation that created the National Suicide Hotline number 988. And in fact, just today, a mother with a young child approached me and someone who was involved with this and says, "You saved my daughter's life. She called and got help." It's a recognition that there's help available. I think this month is a recognition that many people are hurting. We should be sensitive to those people and to share with them the way you feel. You don't have to feel this way forever. There is hope. People have gotten through this. We'll help you get through this. I'm so glad we have a moment in a month here to talk about this with people and to reemphasize that positive message of hope, of caring. There is help. Let us help you if you're feeling this way.
A month of mental health awareness, but something we hope that stays with people 12 months out of the year, 365. And thank you for fighting for this. Thank you for your support of mental health. And of course, thank you for joining us here on 2 News Live tonight. Congressman, we appreciate you. Congressman Chris Stewart, live from Washington, D.C. tonight. We will post that entire interview, if you missed it, after the show tonight on our YouTube channel. Just search KUTV 2 News Live or KUTV 2 News, Salt Lake City. You can find us a number of ways. Just type in those keywords, KUTV, and we will come up first in your search engine. I guarantee it. Let's turn to your forecast now. Meteorologist Chase Thomason here. Chase, it's very unusual where you are stuck towards the bottom of our show. I just want to say that.
That's okay.
Given how the last few months have been, we've needed to talk to you, and we still do, because I had a conversation today with the folks at the Bureau of Reclamation. We will talk about that tomorrow here on 2 News Live. He stresses we are still in a drought.
Yes.
There are needs around our water.
Right.
And he hammered that home, so we'll be sure to share more of that with you tomorrow. But it's just coincidental that that's what we're talking about here.
That's right. This is the latest drought monitor. It is released every Thursday, so we get that updated look. And especially with the ongoing snow melt saturating those soils just a bit, beginning to fill up those reservoirs and lakes. Of course, they're still going to be below average, but we are making a big dent to the drought. We're just not out of the drought. It likely will take several winters.
Well, it's impressive. It's improving. I mean, I remember looking at this just about a month ago, maybe more. We still saw parts of Sevier County that were still in the extreme.
Right. They were severe last week. 5% of the state was in severe drought. Now, an updated look, there's no more severe drought on the map, but there's still a good chunk of moderate and dry conditions across the state. But big improvements over the last year and over the last several weeks.
Nearing that Mother's Day weekend that everyone needs their forecast for. Let's check it out.
And you might need your umbrella because we are tracking a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms out there. Today, though, it has been beautiful with temperatures near normal, 60s and 70s in northern and central Utah. St. George coming in at 83 degrees for today. So here's the setup, and it's a little bit unusual, coming in 2 parts. We have a big ridge of high pressure out west and an area of low pressure developing across the northern Rockies. This high is going north. You get that clockwise rotation. It's going to grab this developing storm system and push it into northern Utah and to our west. And that will bring up a little bit of moisture, and we'll have a few showers and thunderstorms, including on Mother's Day. Now, it's not going to be widespread, hit or miss, but keep your eyes to the sky. Few storms possible on Saturday, mid-70s. We'll stay mild in the low to mid-70s on Mother's Day, but that's probably our best chance to see a little bit of rain, and we can't rule out maybe some gusty winds coming out of these showers and storms, a little bit of lightning as well. Now, this evening, we are quiet. Overnight, we're quiet. Tomorrow morning, we're quiet, but we'll have a few clouds out there. By the afternoon, though, I think your Friday is going to be fantastic. There could be a stray shower, though, in the mountains of northwestern Utah. We'll see a better chance for those showers and storms developing Saturday afternoon, especially near the I-15 corridor and across northern and central Utah into Saturday night. And even into Sunday, we'll see a few showers and storms. But notice, it's not widespread rainfall that is moving in over the weekend. And those temperatures are still staying very pleasant. Mid-80s tomorrow, upper 80s in St. George on Saturday. It'll be a little windy. And then by Sunday, we'll see a chance for a couple showers and storms. That's your best day. Look at next week. We'll see highs right around 90 degrees, and a few more storms are possible Wednesday and Thursday. Salt Lake, mid-70s Friday and Saturday. Rain possible on Sunday. 73 degrees, which is still a degree or 2 above normal, and then it gets even warmer next week. Here we go, near 80 on Monday. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm. And then our temperatures really start to crank up by the middle of next week, Brian. We'll be in the mid-80s. Snow melt, of course, it's going to be really going next week. So we'll be watching that. But snowpack now close to 50%.
Just get past that weekend right there. I'm good for a tea time Tuesday morning.
Okay. I got to work.
Up the swing. Later in the day you have to. Are you working a weird shift next week?
No, I can do it in the morning.
Don't throw me
but,
off
you know,
like
Tuesday
that.
I got to mow the lawn. So many things.
Who knew? So check out the photo of Chase today on his Facebook page. I was hoping he would show us the hair today in studio that he had rocking out.
I have to go like that. So how I wake up, you know.
Sure.
I decided to comb for work.
You still look good if you're efficient for compliments.
Thank you.
It works. Thanks for watching 2 News Live. Thanks to Sky Lazaro, Congressman Chris Stewart, for everyone back here in the studio for making today possible. Jam-packed show. We appreciate you watching as well. We're back tomorrow to wrap up the week. 5:30 Monday through Friday. This is 2 News Live. We're back tomorrow. Have a great night.